Imagine being swallowed alive by an alien monster, and your only response is to tear the beast apart from the inside out by turning into a giant, or trampling a horde of bizarre mutants as a colossal elk, even summoning a titanic whale to crush your enemies. This is the power of a true cultivation master. But right on the verge of becoming a god, our hero's ascension fails miserably. He wakes up disoriented, surrounded by massive starships. He is stranded in a violent sci-fi universe where magic simply does not exist. Stripped of his powers and left with nothing, he is now just a cosmic nobody. Treated like organic trash, he is chained up and thrown into a space prison. Soon after, the entire prison ship is swallowed whole by a space leviathan. Now, psychopathic cyborgs and cold-blooded assassins try to torture him for pure entertainment. To them, he is just a frail human waiting to die. But they just made the biggest mistake of their lives. Our hero is a master of forbidden transformation magic. The total lack of spiritual energy in this galaxy is not an issue. He shatters metal armor with blinding speed and pure brute force, turning simple leaves into a lethal army of clones. He slices through the alien scum with a bamboo sword. This mortal cultivator will bring the entire universe to its knees. The massacre begins now. Ever since he was a kid, our MC showed he wasn't just messing around when it came to cultivation. Surpassing his own master at a young age, the kid already had his name on everyone's lips. Right before hitting 30, he already had one foot in the door to becoming an immortal. But you know how it goes. Right at the final step of Ascension, fate decides to play a joke on him. He's just floating up to the heavens without a single care in the world. Then this massive thing comes flying straight at him out of nowhere, slammed face first into the hull of some weird ship with zero time to dodge. Our guy finally wakes up and tries to process the damage. Everything feels blurry since his only memory was going up to the sky and taking a massive hit. To make matters worse, there are two bizarre creatures staring right into his face. Jumping ahead a bit for some context, the setting now is the Sea of Stars, a place where hunters and monsters fight for space. Usually, wiping out these beasts pays out a really fat reward for the hero saving worlds. That is actually happening right now, with these bugs terrorizing a whole city, hitting like a truck. The freaks also spit out some weird liquid that melts things. One of the hunters even tries to save a buddy who got stuck under the rubble, fails the mission and ends up screaming for these so-called interstellar guardians. And that's where it gets crazy. A rich dude says through his watch that waiting for the space cops is a death sentence. Better pay for a private rescue. Right on cue, a private ship shows up with the pilot promising to get everyone out of there safe. Grabbing his client in the blink of an eye, the guy dips out of that chaos. For another group that paid for the service, the hype is huge when they see a super roomy ship arriving. Anyone needing a group rescue is also in luck, just gotta pay a much steeper fee. Meanwhile, the pink alien girl is getting highly annoyed because everyone got saved except her. Snapping out of it, her mood clears up real quick, imagining her ride is gonna be pure luxury. That was what she dreamed of, until our boy finally shows his face. Ye Genshing walks right through the swarm of bugs, fully locked in on his goal. Stepping up to his client, the swordsman immediately apologizes for the delay. He officially introduces himself as the private rescue she's been waiting for. Completely outraged, the rich lady rejects his help because she thinks it's a joke he came on foot without a ship. But the MC tells her to chill out, promising he can handle the danger and proving their escape is a done deal. Tapping the iron sword, the alien refuses to ride on that thing when the competition has high-tech fleets. Man, this is where it gets good, because she realizes one of the rich clients just got snagged by the monsters. They just watch the chaos from a distance, hoping the dude can get away. Sadly, things only get worse and a second rescue ship goes down. That roomy ride doesn't have any luck against the beasts either. Ends up getting reduced to scrap right in the middle of the attack. With panic setting in, the snob asks if the kid can actually get her out of that hellhole. Ching makes a move to leave alone, making the client instantly change her mind and beg for help. Seeing the swarm of monsters closing in, she realizes no other team would make it in time. He agrees to the rescue, but throws out a question about where she'd hold on to avoid breaking manners between a man and a woman. The pink girl loses her mind and yells, asking who even thinks about manners at a time like this. So the cultivator agrees to carry her without any funny business, getting a loud rush scream back in response. In a moment of pure panic, the woman demands he gets her out of there as fast as possible. Flashing back real quick, a memory shows our boy learning how to stay firm like a root against the wind. Master Fu Shang hands the green bamboo sword to Ah Ching, asking him to be strong and unshakable just like the plant. Fills the the old man with pride, joking that the student already surpassed him like a fresh sprout, growing taller than the old bamboo. However, the final order is for the kid to pull the max amount of power out of this weirdly named weapon. Down in the center of the action, our kid finally preps his ultimate move. He releases the Imperial Green Bamboo Sword art all at once. Check this out, an actual hurricane of giant bamboo sprouts up, sweeping the monsters away. Everyone's jaw drops, not believing the absurd amount of power the kid just flexed, slicing and throwing monster chunks everywhere. The rich girl thanks the heavens, realizing she judged the guy all wrong. Replying super humbly, he lets her know he's just a cultivator from Shuangguang Mountain. Yi Genqing is the beast's name, even though his profile pic is looking pretty weird. Now we jump back in time a bit, right when he introduces himself to the crashed ship crew, hyping up his school from the mortal world. Asking politely for permission, the young guy tries to get back on his path to the immortal realm. In her MC's head, those creatures had to be from some powerful sect, which is why he was playing nice. Except the aliens just stare at the kid with a dumbfounded look. They trade confused looks with each other, but soon they open fire without mercy, since the scumbag poked a hole in their ship. Sprinting for his life, the swordsman tries to figure out the reason for all this violence. And just like that, everything changed, because he finally looks around and sees where he landed. Without a doubt, the place was light years away from the heavenly paradise. Having nowhere to run, the two creatures end up capturing the kid. Back in our present day, the system beeps letting him know the rescue mission was a success. Ah-Ching thanks the client for choosing him and gets ready to say his goodbyes. Grinning from ear to ear seeing the cash hit his account. It's a major step to save up and go back home. After all, our hero is stranded in outer space right now. Right in the middle of this mess, some old alien dude is hanging off a building screaming for help. He's promising the moon, even posting the bounty online to see if anyone can get him down. Guess who happens to walk by right then, watching this bonus profit fall from the sky? Shooting off instantly, he heads straight for the old man. Right at that second, a flash cuts through the air straight towards him. The massive impact throws everything into the sky. Chugging a bottle of booze, a mercenary mocks just how easy that job was. Crimson Alex, the badass sniper, shows up warning that anyone getting in the way of her money is gonna eat lead, always backed up by the robots Ikaroro and Irakaka. Panicking, the crowd running from the monsters whispers that the crazy legendary drunk is here. While the sniper calls everyone a wimp, her machines try to calculate if she's drinking pure alcohol or something way worse. That gets cut short when the little robot warns her some smartalek just stole their client. Looking at the building, she notices the rich guy is actually gone. Yi Genqing was already far away carrying the client. Promising the worst was over, out of nowhere he takes a barrage of shots to the back and goes down with the old guy. But the senior is the one paying for the mission and needed to stay breathing. Yanking the rich dude, the merc promises to take him home as long as the cash is ready, and he agrees on the spot. Right after that, a whole bamboo forest bursts out from the ground with crazy force. He pops back up, grabbing the client again, ready to bounce. Losing his mind, the poor old man begs to be left at the building, giving up on escaping. Super pissed off, Alex orders her robot to activate the illusionary arsenal. The weapon shifts into a massive cannon, looking like it's gonna wipe out the whole block. Turns out the blast was nothing more than a brutal stream of water. Spotting the danger, the MC tosses the old man way out of the blast zone. Took the whole hit right to the chest. Under all that pressure, the kid even thanks his helmet for keeping the oxygen flowing, but notices the water acts like cement, locking his movements. Alex tells the old guy to get his wallet ready while he just cries, regretting ever leaving his house. Obviously, the cultivator isn't gonna take an L, and knows the game ends right there if he doesn't level up his strength. Snapping a mystic seal with his fingers, he warns the girl not even to bother begging the universe for mercy. And now we take another jump to the past to figure out where this OP power comes from. Everything around is shaking and crumbling, with the crew joking that the master must be making a serious mess. Another cultivator corrects them right away, explaining that little Ah-Ching drank the immoral wine like water and is using the energy to train a forbidden technique. Freaking out, they say the kid is way too young to handle such a devastating power spike. What matters is the kid survived the hit and mastered the technique. Jumping back to the present mess, the situation only gets worse. The sniper team goes on high alert, completely clueless about what's going down. No one saw that coming, but the MC simply turns into a giant whale and charges straight at her. With nowhere to run, the mercenary ends up taking the hit head on. Poor old guy ends up falling from way up high, gets stuck in the rubble all over again. Super stressed out, the client thinks the two of them are trying to finish him off instead of rescuing him. And that's where it gets crazy. The beasts that almost snagged the old man are completely pulverized out of nowhere. Actually, all the monsters around there turn to dust in the blink of an eye. That wasn't our boy's doing, nor Alex's, since both were still trading punches. Even the rivals stopped fighting to try and figure out where the attack came from. Check this out, a whole fleet of wicked ships just covered the sky. You must be wondering where this whole battalion came from, right? To figure that out, we jump back real quick to when Yi Jianqing bumped into the aliens. After the initial clash, the three of them try to reach some sort of deal. Sweating bullets, the alien duo tries to understand what the kid means, but the boy asks them not to move and to be very careful. Our MC sticks acupuncture needles in them, warning that the big guy has too much internal dampness. The skinny alien says they searched the star map and couldn't find the Shuangwang mountain in the system. Finding the story hilarious, the swordsman explains they ran him over on the way, so the place had to be around there. So the chubby partner apologizes for the crash, but warns that the kid appeared out of nowhere and this immortal stuff doesn't exist around those parts. Slowly, the kid tries to process all this, realizing his life just turned upside down. Trying to be cool, the big guy even jokes asking if an error during Ascension leaves a guy only half immortal. Back to the rescue scene, the chaos is still going strong. That colossal fleet is wiping the floor with all the monsters. Everyone is blown away by the ship's firepower. After all, it was the interstellar guardians finally arriving to lay down the law, bringing a ton of combat vehicles. They cover every corner of the city. One of the survivors celebrates the rescue but points to a weird guy on the front lines. Right in front of the most gigantic creature of all, the guy holds his ground. This warrior admits the cavalry took too long and a lot of lives were lost. Wiping out the slime beast in seconds, he swears he won't let that sacrifice be in vain. Man, right then the crowd goes wild wanting to know who the legend is. Everyone wants to find out the hero's name. Striking a massive pretty boy pose, the brute dusts off his clothes. He proudly introduces himself as Captain Thunder, the leader of the Guardians. The dude's fan club is huge, making girls of all species across the universe swoon. Right after taking down the last threat, the blonde guy orders the team to start the real rescues, so the whole squad focuses on getting the wounded out of the battlefield. That includes the annoying rich dude who spent the whole attack hanging off the building, getting pulled to safety. The senior snitches on the merc and our boy right away, super angry. He complains he barely made it out alive because of them and demands they get locked up. Realizing things were about to go south for them, the duo tries to bail. However, the escape doesn't even last 2 steps. Thunder pops up right in front of them and grabs them both at once. From there, it's downhill, with the sniper, the MC, and the 2 robots ending up straight in jail. The prison ship is already packed with weird creatures and needs to take off without delay. Grabbing a piece of the defeated beast is proof. The captain announces he's taking the troublemakers with him. Before taking off, he leaves the city security in the hands of his right-hand man. Right after, prison ship 601 tears to the sky, heading straight into endless space. In this setting, our boy and Alex are just sitting in silence on the transport, trying to break the ice. The swordsman mentions they at least tried to make some cash, but instantly gets told to shut up. He doesn't give up and blurts out that good friendships are born in chaos, getting a death threat if he makes another peep. The kid isn't intimidated and says his transformation technique is pretty similar to her habit of materializing stuff. That makes the merc furious, pulling out a cannon to warn him they have nothing in common and telling him to shut his mouth for good. During the fight, the ship keeps pushing forward without breaks through deep space. Sometime later, tempers cool down and she gives up on shooting him in the face. Once again, the MC starts talking, guessing she must really need the money to have fought so hard for the bounty. And wouldn't you know she agrees? The crazy girl starts yelling that she wants to buy the most lethal weapon in the universe, capable of wiping out a whole world. Ching Lass encounters that it's a pure bluff, thinking the girl has a soft heart deep down. That remark makes the sniper even more offended at the kid. Firing back at the teasing, she calls the kid a weirdo and asks why he also kills himself over a few bucks. Right then the question hits our MC head on. He immediately remembers old Master Fu Chang, the comrades he left behind on the mountain, and that moment that was supposed to be his glorious spiritual ascension. With a calm voice, he reveals he's saving all this cash to afford the trip back home, that being his biggest and only life goal right now. The merc even opens her mouth to drop another joke calling him a freak, but the banter is cut short by a massive, unexpected twist in the trip. Everything starts shaking violently, tossing the prisoners from one side to the other. Even Captain Thunder loses his balance without a clue of what just happened. Looking through the ship's glass, the only thing visible outside is pitch black. And just like that, everything changed. It becomes pretty clear the whole transport just got swallowed by a colossal beast. Slowly, Alex starts regaining consciousness after the impact. Alongside the MC, trying to process where the heck they ended up this time, the confusion soon takes over the rest of the crew too. Staring at those living, slimy walls, the guys don't even know if they're still in the same universe. Curious, one of the inmates even suggests they already reached the Guardian's prison, even though the trip was way too fast. But another criminal shoots down the idea instantly, since the captain of the law himself was right there on the floor with them. Thunder tries to connect the dots and replays the moment of the attack in his head. Quickly it clicks, and he realizes everyone is trapped inside the gut of a space freak. No hesitation, he throws a violent punch against that gooey flesh to test its toughness. The whole structure shakes and absorbs the impact without taking a single scratch. Warning the crowd, he explains they'd need a laser cannon with an absurd caliber to blow a hole in there. And guess who catches his attention right then? Everyone around clears out, shocked at what they're seeing. Alex materializes the exact weapon needed, but warns she's only shooting if the brute gets tied up first. Even acknowledging the power of that arsenal, the hero laughs at the idea, swearing she couldn't stop him alone. Except he didn't expect to have a lethal weapon pointed straight at his face, especially with all the prisoners backing the rebellion. With not much choice, the blonde guy ends up on the floor, completely pinned down by the mob. Straight to the point, a criminal warns the captain to stay super quiet in the corner if he wants to keep breathing. All set for the shot, the merc gets ready to pierce the creature's stomach and blast the crew out of there. Right then, the swordsman decides to jump into the mess to crash the party. Defending the law, the MC warns that escaping like that and tying up the captain will only make their punishment worse. Obviously, the kid can't handle the pressure from the thugs and ends up tied up right next to the brute. The hero praises the young guy's sense of justice, but needs to give some real honest advice about the situation, asking straight up if he has a screw loose trying to face everyone alone like that. Yagenking gives an awkward laugh, admitting he acted on impulse and formally introducing himself in the middle of that mess. Fed up with the situation, the commander says he pictured everything for his life, except becoming monster food next to a clown. Then the MC gets confused and asks about this whole getting digested thing. Without beating around the bush, the blonde guy explains that the massive beast's gastric juice is going to dissolve everyone inside. The kid fires back, questioning where their ship went and who took off everyone's handcuffs. Thunder just stares blankly since he doesn't have a clue what happened either. When he tries to snap back at the swordsman, a loud noise interrupts the chat. That drilling on the stomach wall just started up. Going all out, Alex unloads the cannon into the creature's flesh, but the crowd starts screaming for her to look at the ceiling, leaving the merc out to super annoyed that they're ruining her work. Everyone was freaking out over something coming from above. And would you look at that, a weird hole was shifting on the ceiling. To everyone's despair, that thing was actually a giant mouth. That freak suddenly spits out something super bizarre. Keeping it real, it looked a lot like an alien octopus. One of the inmates walks up to the slime and even thinks the bug is kind of cute. Unfortunately, the guy got way too close. This mini version of the freak just swallows the dude in the blink of an eye. Seeing the horror scene, the crowd goes into a full panic. Mostly because the monster wasn't just lethal. Its appearance was hideous with a creepy eye inside a mouth that had another mouth. Another prisoner tries to swallow his fear, but goes into pure shock looking at the ceiling again. Hundreds of those exact same creatures start raining down from above. If dealing with one was already a nightmare, imagine that whole swarm. And that's where it gets crazy. Chaos completely takes over the place, turned into a real fight for survival. Meanwhile, Yi Jiangqing and Thunder can only watch everything tied to the floor. The little monsters attack everything and everyone in sight without an ounce of mercy. Nobody is spared, and the survivor count drops in a matter of seconds. Desperate, a small squad tries to form a human shield, but the barrier barely lasts. Switching gears real quick, we head over to our MC's temple. Master Fuchin wonders why his student never came back, questioning if the young guy forgot his roots, since the kid isn't sending any news at all. The old man decides to push his luck and try to divine how his disciple is doing. Through some kind of mystic smoke, he starts his reading. However, the shape the sign takes leaves the senior covered in goosebumps. Hoping to be wrong, everything points to the kid's journey being pure chaos. The drawing formed is a grim symbol, a massive warning of extreme danger on the swordsman's path. But leaving the peace of the temple behind, we jump right back to the hellhole the freak's stomach turned into. Inside there, the creatures keep wiping out the inmates. Out of the initial 10 prisoners, the count already dropped by half. The other half of the crew sadly already became a quick snack. By pure luck, Thunder finally busts out of his ropes, saving our hero at the last last second from becoming food too. With fire in his eyes, the blonde guy refuses to accept so much brutality. Right then, the brute decides to fight dead serious. Ah Ching agrees the beasts cross the line and decides to break free. The problem is snapping the rope ain't that easy for someone without all that raw strength. To make things worse, a pack of nasty bugs aims right at him, right when the monsters jump to attack the kid. Many people would think he was a goner, but the kid is way too quick, shape-shifting real quick. He turns into a different beast to clear the area. To be exact, the boy takes on the appearance of a moose. The crowd around them is left clueless about where that giant animal popped up from, and right after getting rid of the danger, he turns off the power. Our MC returns to his original body. The issue is the transformations always leave a side effect, so this time he's stuck with antlers on his head, smashing everything nearby. Thunder keeps up his fight. Soon the brute notices the mercenary vanished off the map. He stares at the gaping hole in the wall, with no clue where the woman went. Part of the group even comments she probably already escaped. But the reality is, the sniper was still halfway through, running with a huge grin. An unexpected roadblock stops her escape. And would you look at that? An even bigger version of that same bizarre monster shows up blocking the exit. This doesn't end well, and the beast quickly grabs the girl, knocking down the rest of the inmates. Alex doesn't take it lightly, pulling out dual guns instantly to pump the bug full of lead. Except the shots don't seem to have the slightest effect on the freak shell. Crushing another enemy, the captain tries to figure out what kind of hellish place this was. Curiosamente, all that carnage seemed to be set up by someone. Behind the cameras, everyone was being watched closely. A mysterious guy evaluates the survivors like they're mere players in a game. That weird robotic lackey lets Lord Nexara know the selection was complete. Therefore, the remaining group perfectly met the test's requirements, shifting the focus back to the battlefield. Thunder finishes the job, dusting off his suit with a massive flex. He announces the path is clear and everyone needs to find a new exit ASAP. Through the exhaustion, one of the thugs lets out a sigh of relief for staying alive. But the poor guy's celebration ends up being real short-lived. The blonde guy freezes up, not understanding the sheer weirdness of that scene. And just like that, everything changed. Several of the other prisoners suddenly get blasted, and it wasn't even the sniper's fault. Right then, a mysterious voice congratulates the trio that stayed in one piece. That shadowy figure reveals they are the big winners of the trial. Zakora, the helmet lady, tells the three to be thankful they weren't wiped out with the trash. Yet the prize is nothing to cheer about, since their final destination is to rot in that dark pit. Summoning her goons, she demands they lock up the trio right away. Captain Thunder doesn't hold back, calling the villain a soulless monster for this sick little game. Completely outraged, he questions what's the point of causing such a cowardly slaughter. The commander in black doesn't even care, taking the blame with a huge smirk and asking what he's gonna do about it. Obviously, this makes the blonde guy's blood boil, charging into the attack without a second thought. He winds up that same devastating punch, except one detail changes everything. One of the lady's brutes hits a button on a remote control. Without anyone noticing, shock collars had been stuck to the inmates' necks before the trip. That little gadget fires off a crazy electric shock straight into the hero's body. Taking the full impact, the giant collapses on the floor, shaking all over. Alex decides to step in before it's too late, cocking two guns to wipe the woman out of there. But the villain is way faster, summoning dark energy in the blink of an eye. The sniper's arsenal simply evaporates from her hands. Even knocked down, the captain tells our boy to stay back so he doesn't get zapped too. To everyone's surprise, Yi Zhenqing ignores the warning, wanting to know the criminal's name and the reason for all that arrogance. Walking casually toward the danger, he leaves the brute dead, certain that the kid is heading straight for his demise. Everyone thought the kid had a trick up his sleeve acting like that, but nope, the button gets pushed and he drops hard to the floor from the shock. Barely staying conscious, he takes a massive scolding from the captain, calling him a madman. Terrified, Alex tries to figure out how her weapons vanished so easily. Thunder figures they implanted something in them during the blackout, so waiting was the only option now. Without an ounce of pity, the villain orders her goons to throw everyone in the cells. The whole squad ends up dragged down the dark hallway. That even gets a complaint from the merc demanding special treatment as a lady. But the brutality was standard for everyone there. Accepted her fate without saying another word. Man, right here it gets tough to defend our hero since his power keeps fluctuating. Flashing back to the past, the memory of an important chat surfaces. Back in the sect, someone was saying the kid's cracked talent made him skip way too many training steps. Mushroom had warned back then that defying fate like that would cost him, and eventually the heavens would collect. And snapping back to reality, the kid reflects on those words, realizes the warning wasn't a joke. That heavy debt finally came knocking. Changing the subject, the blonde guy challenges the woman, asking if she wasn't scared of the intricacies interstellar guardian's fury, fast right in his face, revealing the whole galaxy actually belongs to a big shot called the Master of the Universe. No one saw that coming, and the brute is left completely shell-shocked by the reveal. Nearby, the sniper is shaking as she peeks through a crack in one of the doors. Without a doubt, the screams of despair from inside were not a good sign. That also bothers the swordsman, who decides to activate a magic talisman to scout the area. Right then, a mysterious paper slides out of his backpack. The enchanted item quickly takes the shape of a living little man. Swiftly, the miniature transforms into a tiny frog. Hopping around the corners, the little guy starts exploring the hallways. It soon gets close to the first room in the block, sneaks right under the heavy door. Closing his eyes, Ah Ching links his vision with the animals. The view inside is rough, with a massive beast wiping out its own cellmate without a drop of pity. This makes the kid realize the sheer brutality of that prison. Without wasting time, he sends the pet to the next target. Then, the little spy infiltrates another dark room. History repeats itself, with a prisoner using dirty tricks to catch her partner off guard and finish him off. Seeing so much pointless evil up close, our hero's brain starts to fry. Yi Zhenqing gulps hard and keeps watching the other areas. Spotted the same chaos again. And one more time. That carnage just kept happening in every single room. Clearly, the place served to gather and test the worst scumbags existing in the cosmos. The tour ends when a heavy metal door finally opens for the squad, tossed inside without a care, making it 5 hostages if you count the 2 robots. Zecora tells the crew to enjoy the rest of their lives in that hole, and warns them to play nice with their new company. With a loud bang, Glock seals the team's fate. Soon, the swordsman tells them to stay on high alert, since any cellmate in there was a lethal monster. Got a massive jump scare when a super sweet hello cut through the silence. A greenhorn alien pops out of the shadows, wishing them a warm welcome with the biggest smile. This cute greeting leaves the 3 newcomers completely stunned. Coughing super suspiciously, she swears she needs some weird purple serum because of a severe genetic disease. Berlin is the resident's name, promising up and down to be just a kind elf punished by fate. To prove the sickness, she lets out that highly questionable cough. Right after the girl introduces this X70K, a 10 servant supposed to be super tame, she swears the robot is a total sweetheart. But the thing's face doesn't fool anyone. Introducing the final member, the girl reveals the little yellow pet named Toby. The little monster seems chill, ignoring that bizarre habit of walking around without pants. Through all this weird rambling, the trio stays frozen in place, with zero reaction. Yi Zhenqing actually thinks he hit the jackpot, but Alex fires back, calling the neighborhood a joke. Heartened by the job, Thunder warns everyone not to drop their guard before finding a way out. Killing the mood, Island mentions she has a welcome surprise for the newbies. Behind a giant lid, the girl reveals she hid an actual feast. The MC's stomach even growls, and the sniper already asks for wine, but the blonde hero snaps, reminding them they're prisoners. That scolding ends up hurting the green alien's pride. Crying a river, she says she cooked everything with lots of love, even while being on her last legs. Begs them to try at least a tiny bite. Thunder just sighs, already catching on to the play here. As the Guardian's leader, he makes it clear he isn't naive enough to fall for a cheap scam. So the brute tells the girl to drop the little act once and for all. His teammates ask him to chill, but the hero doubles down, saying he's immune to these dirty tricks. In his head, the second they lift the lid, something awful is going to attack. Actually steps up to the elf, asking if he didn't just hit the nail on the head. Whimpering, Irlin regrets being so gullible, expecting gratitude from the universe. And that's where it gets crazy. She asks the butler to lift the lid and prove there's zero danger. When the bot pulls the metal out, the surprise is there's just a regular old cake underneath, kinda looking like a brain. Alex bursts out laughing and roasts the captain, saying the only hazard there was a sugar rush. Confused, the blonde guy steps closer to check, not believing the villains played fair. Did he go too far and the girl just wanted to be nice? Or did that cake actually have some poison hidden inside? One little detail slips by, but there was a tiny mechanical hand stuck to the lid. And wouldn't you know, the worst happens when he turns his head? The robot's head splits open, revealing a cannon aimed straight at him. With no time to dodge, the captain takes the blast point blank, gets violently launched all the way across the cell. Dropping the nice guy mask, the machine announces it's gonna give a real intro. In reality, the android is built for brutal torture and loves causing pain. So the only true thing from that whole story was the name X70K. Right after that, the tin freak kicks the entire cake right at them. Crimson Alex tries to draw her gun instantly to fight back, but the merc ends up taking the hit to the face and drops hard to the floor. The elf mocks the situation, claiming that scrap metal's intention was purely out of love. Full of sarcasm, she asks if the newbies like the taste of the surprise. eyes. That's because that weird cake was a sticky blob pinning the sniper down, not edible at all. To try and fight back, Ah-Ching pulls out his scroll, since it was the only thing left. Except the villain acts fast and uses little Toby as a meat shield. The swordsman gets pissed, thinking it's completely messed up to use a little kid for cover. Triggered by the nickname, the yellow beast loses its patience instantly, growing 50 times its own size. The freak charges full speed at the kid. Just like that, our hero ends up falling for the trap, with the whole squad neutralized. Desperate, Alex orders the Karoro bot to activate the ultimate transformation, but the machine warns it never had that feature. Worse yet, it was already too late because the monster's mouth swallows the girl right then and there. Sliding her hand over the mercenary, Ireland praises that red skin, and the chat starts getting really weird. Staring hard, the villain tries to guess how tough she actually is. She soon pulls out a sharp piece of metal to test that out for real, wants to see if the girl is as cracked as she looks. And that's where it gets crazy. The captain finally gets off the ground. Yelling from a distance, he orders the elf to let his friend go right now, because things for that tin robot just got real bad. Thunder grabs the machine, winding up a massive punch. No holding back, the blonde guy lands a clean hook on the enemy. Taking a step back, the android somehow manages to stay on its feet. Then the brew charges forward, calling the thing scrap metal, leaving the villain highly offended. Doesn't even care about the tantrum, focusing purely on charging his ultimate move. Right at that exact second, the hero's vision goes completely dark. Out of energy, the giant collapses on the floor, completely knocked out, hitting his body's absolute limit. The exhaustion from all the fighting finally took its toll. This tin monster loves the advantage and promises a brutal torture session. Screaming in despair, Alex remembers his promise not to give up so easily, but the green alien tells the sniper to shut her mouth. Panicking hard, the mercenary begs the crazy girl to stay away. Meanwhile, our boy is still trapped inside the beast's stomach. Thinking fast, he drops the fire idea so he doesn't burn himself. Not to mention, turning into the whale would crush the whole team in the cell, so the MC decides to rely on another secret technique. Hicking that move would be perfect to turn the tables. To understand this power, we take a quick trip back to the temple. Yi Genking was training at a pretty weird time on the mountain, getting a visit from his master. The old man praises his student's crazy focus. The wise senior asks if the young guy has been practicing the magical transformation. Explaining his routine, the swordsman swears his goal is to master the size-altering technique. Fu Cheng gets hyped, confirming the skill lets him shrink down or grow as big as the clouds. Except the teacher realizes testing its limits right there wouldn't end well. Too late, the wave of power slips out and wrecks the whole place instantly. Jumping back to the prison, the kid pulls off the exact same move flawlessly. A colossal arm bursts out of nowhere, aiming right at the elf. 2 seconds later, a vicious flick echoes through the room, sending the girl flying straight into the wall, shattering her ego on the spot. And the psycho robot immediately goes into shock seeing the threat. Trying to process the situation, he also catches a massive stray hit. X70K collapses into scrap without even processing that raw strength. Funnily enough, the little yellow freak vanishes from everyone's sight. He was stuck on the MC's head, looking like a hat from how tiny he got. Terrified, the tin villain questions what kind of anomaly they locked up. Down on the floor, Alex breathes a sigh of relief, seeing the kid saved his best trick for last. The giant MC crushes Ireland into the ground, leaving the elf seeing stars. Also caught in the crossfire, Toby is left flattened and in pure shock. Crushed in the combo, X70K grinds his teeth in pure rage. With Alex in danger, the MC yells that he's gonna save the sniper right now. Something sharp scrapes right past the girl's cheek, almost giving her a free piercing. Catching her in midair, the MC plays the hero and asks if she got hurt badly. She says thanks, but gives him a weird look, wondering what's up with his face. Warns him right away that keeping up that ridiculous pose will get him shot. The MC ignores the rejection and goes to check on the captain knocked out on the floor. Checking his pulse, Thunder is just snoring from pure exhaustion. Nothing new. Meanwhile, X70K demands a prison with more aesthetic appeal while thrashing around. Talk about vanity. Alex shows up with a club, warning that one more peep and she'll dismantle him for good. But she stops and looks to the side, completely confused by the scene. Notices Arlen is knocked out cold, which is at least one piece of good news. The sniper walks closer, thinking the crazy girl is finally done for. Out of nowhere, a hand grabs the club and splashes some bizarre black liquid. Taking a punch to the nose, Alex is left in shock at the color of her own blood. Arlen gets up laughing, mocking that her little sister's blood is black. Wanting to go straight for the throat, Alex is held back by the MC to get answers. With a huge smile, Arlen says they can ask away, promising to spill everything since they won. The MC stares down the elf and asks what kind of crazy place this is. Her answer is a short and blunt, "I don't know." Pushing further, he asks why they got locked up and what's the end goal. She just keeps her smile and brushes it off, saying she has no clue. Losing her mind, Alex yells, asking what the heck she actually knows then. For the third time, the answer is a big fat nothing, testing all their patience. Alex grabs the elf by the neck, ready to finish her right there if nobody stops her. Wrapping it up, the MC says they can only count on themselves, and Alex obviously agrees. Even while tied up, X70K doubts the escape but already wants to secure a ride. Begging like crazy, he asks them to please take him along if they make it out. Furious, Alex asks if he's dreaming, refusing to bring along the guy who tried to end her. Playing the victim, the robot cries that Erlen has a terminal illness and will crash without meds. He keeps the act going, claiming poor Toby just wants to find his missing son. And him? He's suffering the most, wanting to find Lady Nicola to be her new lackey. Catching on instantly, the MC realizes the robot just wants to switch to the winning team. Alex gives a heads up not to fall for it, saying those three are cut from the same cloth. Agreeing completely, the MC shifts the focus to this supposed demon leader and their location. He analyzes the square-faced villain and her dark powers, leaving Alex completely lost. In a flashback, Nicola mocks the Guardians, calling them glorified security guards, and drops a massive bombshell. Her boss rules the entire universe. Toby doubts it entirely, calling this Master of the Universe stuff a bedtime story. Deep in thought, the MC goes quiet while Alex asks if he knows the guy. He's not from around here, but that title gave him chills, spelling major trouble ahead. Back in his world, the boss rules over everything: men, gods, and demons. Cutting over to the South Heaven Gate, the ultimate border between worlds. The Jade Emperor drops an order, warning that chaos has arrived and the constellations need to fix it. Stomping their feet, the subjects accept the mission right on the spot. Meanwhile, Master Fu Chang stares at his tea, looking like he just predicted the worst. His mushroom head buddy tries to calm him down, saying Ah Ching knows how to handle himself. No one saw that coming. A beam of light streaks across the sky, leaving the old men clueless. Crashing into the ground, the light beam kicks up a super dramatic dust cloud. Master Fu Chang almost jumps out of his skin, asking who the wise guy in the smoke is. Popping out of nowhere, a wild-looking dude introduces himself and tells Fu Chang to chill out. It's Kui Mulang from the Constellations, the famous wolfman, showing up for a chat. Shattering his cup from pure shock, it shows just how nervous the master is. He asks if they're running from heaven or if Celestial HR just let everyone clock out early. Explaining the situation, the wolf says it's no vacation, since gods, mounts, and even magical weapons went missing. Deep down, Fu Chang wonders if someone decided to reboot Journey to the West. The beast shoots that down, confirming the vanishing is universal, and the Jade Emperor ordered everyone to investigate. Freaking out, the master screams, asking about his MC and where Akaiying went. With a heavy sigh, the wolf reveals the kid never even made it to heaven, and his escort vanished into thin air too. Fosh completely blows up, asking how he is supposed to stay calm hearing that. Out in the woods, cute little critters and mushroom men just watch this celestial drama unfold. Lamenting the situation, the wolf points out the danger is doubled since the boy isn't immortal yet, having zero clues. The master begs for any kind of hint to help find his missing student. Giving in, Ki Mo Long agrees they are in the same boat and decides to show what they found. Grabs a teapot right after, but it's definitely not for pouring a nice hot drink. Thick yellow smoke starts pouring out of the spout, making it a pretty exotic brew. Standing there frozen, the master just stares at the smog, looking completely clueless. Soon the mist clears up, revealing a video game controller, an old cell phone, and some batteries. Just a bunch of weird modern items the Celestial Forensics team managed to dig up. Picking up the batteries, Fu Ching questions why magic gear disappeared and this tech trash showed up instead. The wolfman cracks the riddle, saying these exact gadgets are heavily linked to the disappearances. Out of nowhere, a disciple comes flying in at light speed, yelling that it is urgent. Explains he went to exorcise a ghost and found nothing but brought back this bizarre thing instead. Handing over a megaphone, the disciple leaves the master completely fed up with all these weird objects. Fu Kung stares at the megaphone like it's some kind of alien artifact. Looking back at the robot head the wolf brought, he starts connecting the dots. Stays right there, analyzing the batteries in the machine while his brain cells work on overdrive. And just like that, everything changed. The master gets an absolute genius idea. No holding back, he jams the battery straight into the robot's head without mercy. Powering the thing up, He yells at the megaphone to do its magic. The machine connects to the device and this celestial rigged setup actually works. Instantly, the megaphone turns on and blasts a noise that nearly makes everyone deaf. Everyone stops in their tracks waiting for the revelation of the century. Booming loudly, the voice announces an anniversary sale with 50% off everything. The wolf is completely amazed, praising the old man as a genius for combining both items to make it talk. Except the audio starts glitching out, repeating the word good over and over. Stuttering again, the megaphone tries to force out the word master. Both of them trade looks, not understanding why the device is crashing hard. Then the MC's voice finally comes through, explaining he failed his ascension, landed in a crazy place, but promises to return. Recognizing that shout instantly, the master celebrates that it's his boy. He grabs the gadget desperately, asking Ah Ching what kind of mess he got himself into. Cutting straight to outer space, the view shows endless planets and nebulas. Back in the present day, Alex tosses screws and metal parts up into the air. She keeps stripping the android down, ripping out parts she probably shouldn't even touch. Kneeling down, the MC asks why she's completely destroying the poor robot. Ireland complains about the noise, but X70K himself asks her not to interrupt his torture. Brushing off the masochist, Alex says she's hunting for parts for her flawless plan. She rocks a red aura and a fiery look, making it clear she's not surrendering to any master of the universe. The sniper finishes her little rigged gadget in the blink of an eye, calling everyone a bunch of useless scrubs. Flashing a confident smile, she promises the escape is finally starting with this thing. The machine gets reassembled, but stares at its new body, hating the whole aesthetic. Ended up looking like a winged maid, making the visual shock totally free, but the trauma very real. Brushing off the drama, Alex lays out the plan to bait those pothead guards. Erland doubts it will work, warning that they are super strict here and nobody slacks off on the cameras. Pulling out a smoke grenade, the sniper asks what happens if they can't see anything at all. She crushes the item, filling the cell with black smoke while a smirk pops up on the elf's face. Over in the control room, a monitor just drops dead, leaving everything pitch black. Sirens start blaring, warning that vital signs are gone and ordering a check to see if anyone is still breathing. Bingo. The cell door pops open with a loud click. Two guards step into the pitch-dark room, ordering everyone to freeze. Smiling wide, Alex whispers that they hooked the little fishes perfectly. Now comes step 2, planting the little gift right onto the goons. The guards activate a vacuum mode to suck all the smoke out of the room. Yelling out loud, the sniper tells the MC to move right now before the smoke clears. Our hero says he's got it, fully ready to strike. Using his camouflage, he summons roots to carry Alex's device. Those little plants rush through the remaining mist at light speed. Without anyone noticing a thing, the vines stick the gadget right on the dummies' backs. Moving with surgical precision, the roots close in on their final target. Click. Successfully installed, with the system confirming the hack. The guard finishes up the cleaning, announcing the smoke is gone and the visual is clear. Looking around, they find absolutely nothing, seeing everything perfectly normal in the cell. Both the MC and Alex are just standing there, hands up, playing completely innocent. The soldiers trade confused looks, wondering if it was just a false alarm. Keeping up his saintly act, our boy denies doing anything wrong at all. The guard gives up, saying they need to fix the humidity so the prisoners don't get moldy. Finally stepping out, the MC lets out a heavy breath since that was a super close call. X70K complains out loud, asking if he got fully dismantled just to decorate a guard's backside, telling the tin can to chill. She promises the main show hasn't even started yet. She pulls out her controller, bragging that the bug and her gadget are gonna do some magic. Out in the hallway, the guards start glowing with a bright red energy, treating it like a video game. Alex pushes the buttons, yelling left, left, right. The soldiers outside turn into pure puppets, dancing right to her tune. Getting hyped with the combo, she inputs forward, back, back. The guys follow every single command, walking around looking like total clowns, flashing a victorious smirk and shining eyes. She has full control over those dummies. The MC praises her crack strategy, calling her a genius and wanting to use them for intel. With zero patience for compliments, Alex tells him to shut his mouth and let her focus. Warns him not to get in the way since she needs this guard to follow the rest of the squad. That is the only way to find the control room without an actual invite. The robot figures it out, realizing that's where they can find the exit and disable the trackers. With the plan mocked in, the whole group watches the gaming master do her thing, walking into a massive room full of screens. The guards finally reach the nest. Ireland cheers for her red sister, but Alex instantly snaps back, demanding some respect for her real name. Looking through the soldier's POV, she hunts for an unguarded computer, makes one guard shove the other out of the way, acting like he's in a rush. She starts typing like crazy to download the map and spot the exit. But a massive reality check hits fast with an access denied error, spelling bad news. Freaking out, Alex asks if this guard is just an intern since he can't even open the map. The MC suggests focusing on the trackers, but she is already one step ahead. Switching up the strategy, she hacks straight into the prisoner log, getting things back on track. The sniper announces she's going to shut off those callers right now. Once again, that red screen pops up with another denied access, proving this system is a massive headache. Completely losing it, Alex yells asking if this guy even has permission to use the bathroom. Talking to himself, the control guard leaves his buddy completely clueless. Soon, a shadowy figure pops up above the screens, making the soldier yell that it's that woman. Sakura gives a warning, saying the master sees everything, and she's coming to shut down their trick. Jumping down, she blasts the guy into yellow slime with a quick goodbye. Inside the cell, the mood gets super heavy while Alex screams the plan completely failed. Our MC completely panics, yelling that she's gonna turn them into mincemeat. Walking with pure menace, the villain proves that despair now has a first and last name. Arlen screams the enemy is coming, and our boy agrees things just got incredibly ugly. Tripping out, the robot wonders if the torture is gonna have some refined cruelty to it. Alex shuts the masochist up with a solid kick, telling the tin can to get lost. Trembling hard, the little yellow freak asks if there isn't a more peaceful way out. The elf completely loses her mind and starts laughing, yelling that it's over and they're all done for. With her cackling away, Alex adds to the dark vibe, saying they're all going down together. But then the sniper's eyes light up, getting a crazy last-minute idea. Pushes the button on the remote, knowing it's now or never. Inside the guard's leftover slime, the MC's device is still glowing brightly. The gadget pops open and releases a tiny mechanical probe. Turning into a cable centipede, the thing completely shreds whatever was left of the soldier. That little probe crawls across the floor faster than small-town gossip, plugs right into the tower's central terminal, making the connection successfully. Showing a happy emoji on the screen, the hack is fully online and running. The robot catches onto the play, and Alex confirms they are finally inside the console. With her face reflecting on the screen, Alex starts hacking the main hub. 20 seconds is all they have left, with the robot warning there's no time to do anything. The group makes jokes about the timer, making Alex snap that it's no time for games. Our MC figures it out, asking if she even wants the map, and she confirms she's just gonna cause chaos. Flashing a determined smirk, she repeats Erlen's words that they're going down shooting. She smashes the button with pure joy, officially ordering a full serving of chaos. Meanwhile, Sakura is still standing there looking flawless in front of the last surviving soldier. Getting ready to deal the final blow, she prepares to close out the show. And that's where it gets crazy. A massive shadow looms behind her, signaling huge trouble. A giant cyclops shows up and obliterates the guard with a single punch, turning around incredibly fast. Even she gets totally jump scared by that. The monster stops right next to her, leaving the villain staring at the destruction in pure shock. Panting hard, Alex says if it was just them, the system would easily shut it down. Suddenly, a containment cell gets busted wide open with a massive boom, sending the metal door flying. The real fun has officially started, but releasing everyone all at once completely changes the whole game. Sakura and the freak are quickly surrounded by a horde of furious prisoners. Yelling that the tracker guard is gone, a monster screams it's time for payback. With a loud battle cry, the mob charges straight at Sakura. The MC's cell door finally pops open, leaving their escape path completely clear. Peeking outside, a green alien has no clue about what's going down. Another robot is shocked, asking what happened and if HR just approved their leave. Monsters celebrate their freedom, cheering that they finally got released. Screaming from the back, a voice tells everyone to stop stalling and get out of there. The open door reveals the sweet light of freedom, proving it's now or never. Toby gets hyped with Alex, while Erlen is just thankful to still be in one piece. Taking charge, the Redskin woman orders everyone to stay quiet and follow her lead. A swordsman looks at the knocked-out MC, asking if he's just going to be left behind. Refusing to take him, the insect lady ignores his protests since he'll just slow them down. Erlen steps up, telling them to go ahead while she looks after him and asking them to come back later. Praising her good soul, the swordsman promises to return for the rescue. The ant woman loses her patience, telling them to stop chatting and step on the gas. Sprinting off, the squad leaves Ireland completely alone with our fainted MC. Her smile shifts, and that creepy little laugh gives it away. Things look bad for our boy. Running down the hallway, the crew yells, trying to find the exit while telling each other to shut up and look. Both the swordsman and the insect woman freeze, their shocked faces saying saying it all. Blocking their path is Sakura, making one of them scream that it's all the sniper's fault. All beaten up but still furious, she clenches her fist and mocks the absolute mess they made. She says they should have stayed quiet and been grateful for the master's kindness. Summoning a dark sphere, she asks if they want to meet their maker, happily granting that wish. Pure panic takes over, with the group literally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. No one saw that coming. A giant root sprouts out of nowhere and gives Sakura a tight squeeze. The wood just keeps growing, turning the place into a super aggressive botanical garden. Within seconds, the villain gets turned into a massive bonsai stuck inside the trunk. Total relief hits the prisoners as they scream they're alive, thanking nature for the save. She demands to know which gardener pulled off this ridiculous stunt. Now that she's trapped, the swordsman steps up, saying he always knew she had some tricks up her sleeve. Flashing a victorious smirk, he admits that's exactly why he had to strike first. He orders the crew to bounce, telling them to find the exit while he handles this mess. Not wanting to stick around, the crew waves goodbye to the villain and vanishes down the hall. Sakura manages to break free, calling the ability weird and admitting she's never seen anything like it. But she gives a warning, promising that after all this chaos, nobody is leaving here breathing. The guy snaps back, pointing out she played dirty last time, so now it's a fair fight. Ready to settle the score, he asks for no more cheating from here on out. Mocking him, Sakura asks if he thinks he's worthy while blasting dark energy everywhere. He dodges the attacks with the smooth of a guy who does this every single day. Dashing forward quickly, he locks her wrist and completely shuts down that energy nonsense. Twists the girl's arm and delivers a brutal punch straight to her back. A clean hit sends Sakura flying far away from the sheer impact of the strike. Spinning in the air like a busted top, the damage she took was absolutely massive. She crashes headfirst, going into pure shock, wondering how he pulls that off without tech. Inside her system, the swordsman is just a blurry mess because he's moving way too fast. The tracking software completely fries trying to keep up with his instant movements. Her analysis detects that the guy's raw strength is just straight up cracked. Sakura is clueless, wondering what kind of build he has without any meds or machines. He charges in again and shatters her defense with just one clean punch. Sending the villain straight into the ground, she ends up kissing the floor hard. A massive dust cloud kicks up right after, looking straight out of an action movie. Behind it all are three techniques: steel body, crazy speed, and pure brute force. But he knows this burns through his spiritual energy like an old car burns oil. Energy is super scarce in this world, and his tank is running pretty much on empty. Basically, he needs to end this fast or he's gonna gas out right in the middle of the fight. Spiritual energy is the root power of the universe, and any real cultivator uses it for everything. Standing up in the middle of the smoke, Sakura looks totally wrecked and calls his moves unbelievable. She warns him that it's useless effort, already getting perfectly prepped for the next round. Out of nowhere, black bands fly straight at the swordsman as a nasty little surprise. That dark material wraps the guy up completely, trapping him just like a fishing net. Completely pinned down, he becomes an easy target while Sakura smiles and asks where he's gonna run now. The dark energy swallows the swordsman whole, making it look like he got disintegrated live on camera. Body parts and blood on the floor, looking straight out of a horror movie, right? Except the blood turns into sap and the body becomes dry leaves. Within seconds, the corpse reveals itself as a pile of weeds, proving the bait was set and she fell for it. Sakura is completely stunned, asking what kind of gardening trick this is and where the real body went. Looking up, the surprise hits even harder. The real swordsman is just chilling on a branch, having used a wooden dummy just to test the waters. Analyzing the situation, he notices her dark matter pops up out of nowhere and kills without warning, which is super dangerous. Concluding his thoughts, the master figures if she makes a sphere, the target turns to dust. Making a cube bends even solid iron, meaning the woman is a walking hydraulic press. Fighting up close is a death wish, so it's time to switch tactics and bring out the squad. Stomping hard on the branch, he makes the whole tree shake. A shower of leaves starts falling down, looking like pretty scenery, but the danger is real. Watching suspiciously, Sakura asks what the gardener's next little trick is. In his head, one clone isn't enough, but a storm of leaves. That's where things get serious. Those leaves in the basket glow with golden energy, making the whole setup look super flashy. Everything starts floating around, dropping zero gravity on our MC's herb stash. Every single leaf turns into a flying mini swordsman, meaning the pocket army is fully prepped. Dozens of fast little clones are just waiting waiting for the attack order. Advanced cloning technique activated, sending the cloud of copies swarming straight at Sakura. The monster is completely blown away seeing that army, having zero clue what's going on. Watching calmly, the MC leaves the villain wondering if he's even human. And just like that, everything changed. All the copies charge in at the exact same time. They start dropping a rain of punches right on the freak, following up the beatdown with a heavy combo of kicks, getting absolutely bodied from every single angle. Right at that moment, one of the clones gets super close, grabs the enemy's arm with some ridiculous brute force. In the heat of the battle, the clone just tears his metal arm right off. That opens up a window for the rest of the mob to pin the monster down, yanking and dismantling the freak non-stop. His robotic skull gets exposed and he throws a taunt at our hero, but the only answer he gets is a barrage of kicks straight to the face. Sikorp goes flying far away while the beatdown just keeps going, finishing the combo by kicking up an insane amount of dust. They warn the guy that he already lost and tell him to throw in the towel. As an offer, the MC says he'll spare his life in exchange for the exit, except the monster tells him to shut his mouth and not celebrate too early. Did anyone think he was defenseless without his arms? Huge mistake. Owning up to the mess, he warns he's gonna play his final card. The vibe gets heavy when he promises the tables are about to turn. Pulling out a glowing core, he straight up declares it's game over for our boy. Instantly, the MC realizes that thing was hidden right there the whole time. That weird figure brings the item straight to his mouth. Man, right at that second, he just swallows the whole thing, leaving everyone's jaws on the floor with the villain's bizarre move. Lord Seacorp screams in pain while his body mutates on the spot. A weird white mask completely takes over his whole frame. He starts stretching out his limbs in a super creepy way. Quickly, the kid notices his entire appearance completely changed. Full of ego, the freak warns he's gonna turn him to dust. Completely called, the MC just orders his troops to push forward, so all the clones charge in for round 2. The horde flies straight at that weird new form, taking a massive jump scare when the freak shoots a beam out of his face. That blasts a clone dead on, wiping him out instantly. A bunch of them try to dodge to keep the offense going. Now the creature fires 2 more shots, one from each limb, sweeping the battlefield with some completely cracked power. And the clones vanish one by one with every single blast. Sikorp laughs and yells that no army is gonna stop him. Without a single pause, all of the MC's copies keep pushing. He doesn't give up, but not a single clone manages to get close. The monster gathers up all the power from his cannons, focusing it all into one single spot right on his chest. From there on, it's a massive blast that wipes the clones completely. Sweating bullets, our boy knows things are getting really tense, but with no options left, he decides to blow everything on one final technique. Over in the hallway, the butler finds it super weird that the place is so empty. Toby secures himself really tightly on the guy's shoulder. Jumping down to the floor, he leaves the redhead completely lost. The little yellow guy blurts out he needs to go back and save the MC. That makes the horned girl lose her mind, calling it pure madness. Except he claps back, saying bravery is for top-tier folks. Acting like a true veteran, he swears he isn't giving up now. Feeling inspired, the butler completely agrees with the little guy. Remembering how the kid helped them, he decides to return the favor. The cyborg girl gets hyped too and announces she's tagging along, killing the mood entirely. She just wanted to see that handsome villain again. Aylis dashes off and tells the duo to stop stalling. 2 seconds of pure silence down the empty hallway, and out of nowhere she comes back, cursing everyone for picking the wrong way. Both of them look back feeling like total clowns, bumping right into a soldier standing in the middle of the path. Quickly, 3 weird slugs pop right out of the guy. The duo gets a massive jump scare from these otherworldly freaks. She stares right at the shadow of our little rescue squad, locking her little eyes on them, ready for whatever happens. No one saw that coming. The beast turns into a little kid on the spot. Shenhei holds up a drawing of our MC, asking if they know him. Recognizing the picture, they connect the dots right away. A bizarre echo slices through the silence of the room. That makes the kid cheer up for finally finding his targets. But the mascot gets suspicious, asking what their connection is. He explains he's an angel who dropped in to pick up the MC. Mocking him, she lets him know the boy's currently fighting for his life. Freaking out instantly, he yells that the kid is just a mortal in danger. Soon the redhead kills the vibe, reminding him that they are way too weak. Rejecting the label, the kid claims they've got a trick up their sleeve. The smallest slug jumps up, warning that the squad has 3 people. Somebody super strong and highly respected is right behind them. Right on cue, slow footsteps start echoing in the background. Up on a mountain peak, an old man is crying, grieving for his apprentice who ended up in some bizarre world. But another old guy just laughs hard, thinking the trip was a huge success, loses his mind and tells his buddy to shut up and show some sympathy. The red-haired dude claims this is a clue about their martial sister. That shocks the geezer, confirming she actually vanished. Demanding answers, the big-nosed guy wants to know why all the secrecy. Red-haired master promises her identities and blow his mind. To his surprise, it's the exact same demon who escaped the Monkey King. Sprinting down the hallway, Alice complains about the delay. The ancient little skull pops up out of nowhere, doubting their escape. Explains that becoming an immortal is no walk in the park, and there are a few ways to do it. First off, heavy training on the mountain is the classic route. Eating magical pills also helps you level up in life. Plus, there's the bonus of becoming immortal if your boss is cracked. That last one means scoring a job in heaven out of pure luck. Without any shortcuts, the one sneaking through the window is always the weakest. Complains that our MC is immortal and fought the boss like it was nothing. Catching on, the little skull warns that the demon is overpowered and would give her trouble even in her prime. She finally gets why heaven picked such a weak kid who still manages to pull off miracles. Jumping back to the fight, the MC proves he's not messing around. Sicorp unloads a brutal attack and screams at the kid to disappear. With zero fear, our boy preps the heavenly punishment art to hit right back. The power of the five thunders gathers entirely in his hand, fires off a massive shock straight at the giant freak. Clashing together, the two strikes shake the entire arena. This catches the villain completely off guard, freezes on the spot, having no clue how a mortal packs so much power. A giant flash swallows everything around them from the blast. Way off in the distance, the cyborg suggests the skull should help body the squarehead, but the spirit kills the mood, warning that she's way too tired to fight. Xianhe agrees and says the kid's battery must be running on zero by now too. Full of doubt, the skull asks about the MC's power reserves. Truth is, there's barely a drop of fuel left in his tank. Back at the brawl, the kid takes a deep breath thinking he got the win. He immediately looks up, catching a really weird sound. And that's where it gets crazy. The kid realizes things just went sour. An energy blast comes flying straight in his direction, hitting dead center on the boy's forehead in a lethal strike. Instantly, the damage is so absurd that his head just caves in. Turns out it was just an illusion, and the body turns into a flock of flying birds. C-Corp is left looking like a total clown watching the birds in the sky. Quickly, the birds flock together and piece the kid back into shape. Untouched, he sighs in relief for dodging that one. The monster mocks him, saying the kid is running on fumes while he's just warming up. Acting all high and mighty, the beast promises to fold the hero light paper. To make matters worse, the MC knows he really is at his limit. Locked in, he pulls out a magic paper for an all-or-nothing attack. He tosses the talisman high up into the air without any hesitation. The object glows, spreading magical marks all over the place. Out of nowhere, the paper turns into an insane weapon covered in flaming energy. Flashing a hand seal, the kid activates the five ghosts. A massive seal drops right on top of C-Corp, who just watches it happen. Right then, five shadowy generals show up demanding a heavy toll of energy. Completely lost, the villain doesn't get where this army even sprouted from. The first phantom pops into the area looking totally sinister. Right behind him comes the red one, rocking a smile that gives you the creeps. The skull of the white ghost shows up flexing its dual swords. Meanwhile, the yellow one arrives with a swollen face and zero vision. Rounding out the squad, the blue one enters the arena with his face covered. With zero time wasted, the blue guy rips off his seal. Freed from the bind, the phantom activates its ability. A red stain seeps right out of his head, expanding fast and completely blinding the monster. Then the blue guy launches the giant freak to another spot. C-Corp gets chucked with absolutely zero chance to react. Down on the ground, he loses his mind, screaming he won't lose to some brat. Completely dizzy, he tries to get his bearings in the middle of all that chaos. No one saw that coming. A colossal fin rises from the water and smacks him. The hit is so brutal that the guy launches straight up into the air, skipping across the waves like a stone on a lake. He slides totally out of control. This is where it gets good. A giant hand grabs a massive weapon, freezes in pure terror when he looks back and spots the shadow. Staring down from above, the giant spirit is fully ready to strike. The weapon comes down, tearing through the wind with brutal force. But the boss thinks the strike is way too slow and predictable. With an easy jump, the monster dodges it while mocking how slow it was. Following it up instantly, he drops a heavy counterattack right back. The impact lands dead on the giant, turning him into pure smoke. He laughs right in the kid's face, calling this backup squad a total joke. And just like that, everything changed, because the second general starts regenerating right away. The phantom pieces itself back together and tags the monster, ripping the freak's arms clean off before before he can even blink. Without giving an inch, the white ghost shows up ready to brawl. The skeleton swords slice through the air hunting their target, and C-Corp gets turned into sliced ham in the blink of an eye. Another phantom sticks right to his back, making the beast scream in pain. Now we're talking. All five closed a circle and absolutely body the villain without mercy. Tossed up like a shuttlecock, he has zero ways to defend himself. The crash into the water kicks up a massive wave across the arena. Drowning in confusion, he finds everything weird and remembers a beast just like it, but the yellow guy deep down is already prepping another move. Huge wooden stakes start sprouting out of the water to surround him. Snapping shut like a cage, the trap leaves the monster completely stuck. Turns into a whole temple, locking the freak right in the middle. He screams that he won't stay trapped, forcing his regeneration to the absolute max. His body deforms and starts sticking to his energy core. That's when the red one rolls up, grabbing the monster straight by the face, wraps C-Corp up completely with those sealing leaves. Grabbing that bizarre paper ball, he preps his attack. Landing a flawless hit, the thing blows up into a giant fireball. The roasted chunks drop into the sea while heavy smoke rises. Setting the mood perfectly, the weather turns and it starts pouring down rain. That water instantly puts out the fire on the villain's body. Thinking he got lucky, C-Corp laughs and thanks him for the free healing shower. Flashing a little smirk, our MC warns him that the rain was made just for him. Completely clueless, the monster looks straight up. High up there, the blue ghost is just chilling and watching a freak. Explains that the rain is pure poison, paralyzing the beast from the inside out. Trying to run, reality hits hard when he realizes he turned into a statue. Staying calm, our boy lets him know the fight is already over. Throwing up a simple hand sign, the final verdict is delivered. One of the generals forms a sinister seal with his fingers. Another phantom follows the motion right into the execution. Right after the red one seals the freak's fate on the spot. Cold as ice, the kid declares it's the end of a line right there. Fueled by pure hate, the beast can only curse while stuck in place. And that's where it gets crazy. A giant hand drops from the sky, crushing everything and wiping the monster off the map. Desperate, C-Corp screams that he's the ruler of this place, except it was way too late for him to cry over spilled milk. The freak roars in pain as the technique completely erases him. Covering everything, a thick smoke cloud rises over the arena. Completely out of energy, our hero drops to his knees thinking he got the win. But out of nowhere, he coughs hard and realizes the damage. The kid's body starts paying the price for burning through so much power, quickly figuring out he needs a second to catch his breath. Meanwhile, heavy footsteps start echoing down the hallway. The squad arrives and the redhead asks right away if the skull is gonna help. Crossing his arms, he bluntly says he isn't anyone's mother. Alice loses her patience and tells the redhead to shut his trap. Then the ancient spirit warns that their deal was strictly for escaping. Pushing hard, the little angel reminds him they need to help the MC. Even puts his hands together, promising him a big promotion up in heaven. Worn out by the begging, he agrees to help if the kid drops the drama. Right at that moment, the partner spots something moving up ahead. Barely standing, the MC leans against the wall to keep his balance. Hearing a weird noise, he tries his best to focus his vision. Soon, the little angel pops up in the hall, looking super happy to see our hero. Except that joy doesn't last long before pure panic takes over his face. Three bizarre freaks come sprinting like crazy right behind him. Not getting the show, the MC asks if the escape finally started. Our boy notices the vibe just got super heavy and looks behind him. No one saw that coming. A colossal face appears, staring right at him from the wall. Man, he was dead sure that monster was already history. Laughing at the situation, the freak tells him his luck just ran out. Taking another hit, the kid coughs, completely refusing to believe it. Full of pride, the monster brags about getting an overpowered buff from his boss. Before, his old scrap metal body could barely handle two dark forms. But that bizarre ring triggered a flawless fusion. Taking that final hit actually served as a spark for his core. The darkness swallowed the scrap and pieced his body back together, awakening a brute force way beyond the normal limit. That mass splits open and takes on a highly twisted shape, leaving the kid speechless just listening to the freak announce his evolution. Rocking colossal arms and a totally sinister look. Flexing his new upgrade, the boss swings those fresh tentacles around. Soon those vines push forward, completely surrounding our hero. C-Corp admits the MC is worth his weight in gold for his research. And without warning, a clean strike goes straight for the head, sending our hero crashing to the ground, causing some ugly damage. The freak lifts the MC's head right up close to his face. Holding the kid's head, he secures it safely. Then he whispers a lethal command straight to his executioners. Over in the other room, we get a good look at one of those bizarre freaks, seeing a bunch of weird monsters completely wiped out. Just a huge pile of them gathered in one single room. But the MC's squad already smashed the panel and killed the alarm. Getting the alert, the villain loses his mind over the pure audacity. Super pissed off, he warns he'll handle this little invasion real fast. several weird bubbles start sprouting right out of the creature's skin, expanding quickly and turning into these super gross cocoons. Tearing from the inside out, sharp claws start popping through. White freaks loaded with teeth are born just for the hunt. Down the hallway, the trio sprints while the octopus screams in pure panic. Completely lost, the cyborg questions where so many bugs even came from. The little angel freaks out, realizing our boy got stuck in a massive trap. And just like that, everything changed. One of the runners gets caught and knocked out instantly. In pure shock, Neja screams our hero's name while bursting into tears. But the new beast shows up, completely killing the little guy's vibe. Flexing a piece of a monster, the freak claims he already kicked the bucket. That news drops like a heavy bomb on everyone's heads. Spooked, the redhead recognizes Sakella's voice coming from that bizarre clone. Turning its face, the bug pins the blame for all this chaos right on Alice. Full of sadism, he thinks up the best way to get payback on her. Full of attitude, the partner says the chatting is over and aims her gun. The energy blast flies straight and tags the freak right in the dome. A huge cloud of smoke kicks up instantly from the impact of the shot, except the bub walks out clean, bragging that his body is fully armored. Her gun even fries from the heat, but it didn't leave a single scratch. Seeing that, the horned girl can't hide the shock written all over her face. Brutally honest, the beast swears there's no escape left for the squad. A nasty strike aims for her neck, but the cyborg dodges it by a hair. Right then, the redhead steps in front, shouting a warning about the danger. Terrified, she can only scream out the butler's name. 70K catches the claw and mocks the freak, asking for a stronger hit. Out of nowhere, a sharp spike sprouts from his hand and pierces the creature, taking a massive impact after the redhead gets launched by the monster. Worn out, he lets out a sigh of relief watching the threat finally vanish. Furious, the little angel stares down the boss and calls him a monster, yelling that the kid was supposed to go to heaven for his reward, but the villain ruined everything. Throwing up a hand seal, he declares that crime deserves 100 punishments. Alice warns him about the attack, but the mascot doubts he even has the energy for it. Despite being weak, the boy promises his strike will get the job done, pulling his magic bowl straight out of the clouds for the brawl. Right then, he fires off his divine super attack, except the blast hits the beast and bounces right off without even tickling him. That impact leaves a little angel looking like a clown and covered in smoke. Nobody can take this anymore, leaving Alice freaking out over the monster's raw strength. Acting all chill, the freak thinks the kid is gonna make a great test subject. Watching the circus from a distance, the little skull calls everyone a bunch of idiots. Jumping closer, she complains that this squad is nothing but a headache. The beast closes in on the fallen angel, promising to finish the job. Screaming in pure panic, they beg the freak to stop right there. And that's where it gets crazy. The ancient spirit forms a seal and summons her magic. Out of nowhere, a puddle of weird liquid starts bubbling up on the ground, forming a crystal skull that floats up fully ready for battle. The boss strikes before the little skull can even finish transforming. That catches the beast off guard, having zero clue how she tanked it. In a blink of an eye, the ancient spirit locks his claw right in her humanoid form. Shooting him a deadly glare, she calls him nothing but a nuisance, giving a quick warning right after not to play games with danger. The ground shatters, revealing a massive barrage of bone spikes. But before he can even react, the freak gets caught dead on by the fatal trap. 1,000 pieces of the creature go flying into the air, wiping out the threat for good. In pure shock, the squad can't believe what they just saw. You dropping a like on this video